The auction begins. The twin suns of planet Traska burned hot in the sky. Dust floated through the dry air, covering everything in a layer of red. A large crowd gathered near the auction square. Tall alien buildings surrounded the stage where cages were lined up. The people cheered and shouted, ready to buy, ready to laugh. In one of the cages sat a quiet girl. She had pale purple skin and silver white hair. Her name was Rin, but no one there cared about her name. All they saw was that she had only one leg. The auctioneer stood on the stage. He was a thick, green-scaled alien with a booming voice. Next up, a rare item, damaged but still alive. He shouted, and the crowd laughed. Guards pulled Rin from the cage and dragged her onto the platform. Her eyes were tired, her body thin, and her right leg was gone below the knee. A simple metal crutch kept her standing. She looked down. She didn't want to see their faces. She had already heard enough cruel words. Look at her. She can't even walk right. Who wants a broken alien? Maybe she can clean floors with that stick. More laughter. A piece of fruit hit her arm. Someone threw a shoe. Rin said nothing. She had learned a long time ago that words didn't help. Silence kept her alive. At the back of the crowd stood a man, a human. He wore a long dark coat and a wide-brimmed hat that covered his face. His arms were crossed. He didn't laugh. He didn't cheer. He just watched. His name was Jace Morrow. He had seen auctions like this before, many times. But this one was different. There was something in the girl's eyes, something still burning. Even after everything she had been through, the auctioneer shouted again, starting price 5 credits. Anyone? Anyone? No one raised a hand. For 3. Come on, people. Still, no one moved. The crowd only laughed harder. She's not worth one. A tall alien woman yelled. Rin's hand gripped the crutch tighter. Her knuckles turned white. She felt her face go hot with shame. But then, silence. A voice spoke from the back. I'll take her, said the human. Everyone turned. Even the auctioneer blinked in surprise. You, the auctioneer said. A human wants this thing. Jace stepped forward, slowly. His boots kicked up small clouds of dust. He walked up to the stage and looked at Rin, eye to eye. I said, I'll take her, he repeated, calm but firm. The auctioneer scratched his head. She's broken, you know. Can't work much. Maybe not even worth feeding. I'll pay now. Jace handed over the credits. The crowd was quiet now, confused. No one understood why anyone would buy her. Fine, she's yours. The auctioneer laughed. Enjoy your trash. The guards pushed Rin toward Jace. She stumbled, but he caught her gently. She looked up at him, unsure. She expected a slap, a command, maybe a collar, but Jace only said, Can you walk with that? She nodded slowly, then come with me. They walked together through the crowd. People stared. Some whispered. Others laughed behind their hands. Rin limped beside Jace, her heart beating fast. She didn't know where he was taking her. But for the first time, someone had touched her without hurting her. As they reached his ship, she stopped. Why? She asked in a small voice. Jace looked back at her. Because you were the only one who didn't cry, he said. Then he opened the ship door. Inside was quiet, cool, safe. Rin stepped in slowly. She looked around. It wasn't big, but it was clean. No cages, no chains. Jace handed her a bottle of water and a packet of food. She held them in her hands. Confused, I don't understand, she whispered. You don't have to, he said. walking away, just rest. She sat down on the bench and watched the stars through the window. For the first time in years, she let herself breathe. But far above the planet, a small drone blinked red. Someone was watching, and someone wasn't happy that the girl had been taken, property or person. The ship lifted off quietly, leaving the dusty market behind. Inside, everything was still. Rin sat on the soft bench, holding the food Jace had given her. She didn't eat. She didn't move much. Her mind was full of questions. Was this a trick? Was he just a different kind of master? She looked at the door. It was open, no locks, no chains. That alone felt strange. Jace sat in the cockpit, guiding the ship through space. His hands moved smoothly over the controls. He didn't speak. He didn't look at her. He acted like she wasn't a slave, like she was just a person. After some time, he came back with a folded piece of cloth. "Here," he said, handing it. To her, Rin opened it. It was a clean brown shirt and soft pants, simple but real clothes, not rags. She looked at him. "Is this ... mine?" Jace nodded. "You can change in that room over there. There's a sink. Water's warm." Rin limped slowly to the small room and closed the door. She stared into the mirror. Her face looked older than her age. Her hair was messy, skin scratched and bruised. She cleaned her face, then her hands. She changed into the new clothes. They felt soft on her skin. For a moment, she touched the shirt and smiled just a little, but the smile faded quickly. This couldn't be real when she returned. Jace had set a meal on the table. 2 bowls, one for her, one for him. He sat down and began to eat. She watched him. He didn't tell her to eat. He didn't even look at her. She sat across from him, slowly picking up the spoon. The food was warm, not too spicy, not too plain. It felt like a dream. She hadn't tasted real food in years. "Why are you doing this?" she finally asked, her voice low. Jace looked up. "Because you deserve better." Rin frowned. "I'm just a slave." "No, you're not. That's what they said I am. They were wrong." Silence filled the room again. But this time, it didn't feel heavy. It felt peaceful. That night, Rin lay on a real bed. A small one, but soft and warm. She stared at the ceiling, unsure if she should cry or smile. She had never slept like this, not since before she was taken. But the peace didn't last long. Sometime during the night, she opened the emergency door quietly. Her crutch tapped the metal floor as she stepped out. She didn't want to run far, just away, away from what felt too good to be true. But after a few meters, her leg began to ache. She sat down near the ship's landing gear and hugged her knees. She didn't know how to live free. A few minutes later, she heard soft steps. Jace walked up and stood beside her. "You planning to run away?" She looked away. "I don't know." He sat beside her on the cold floor. "I won't stop you," he said. She blinked, surprised. "No collar. No order. You go where you want." "Why?" "Because that's what freedom means." Rin looked at him, unsure what to say. "I don't even know who I am anymore." She whispered. "You're Rin," he said calmly. "That's a good start." They sat in silence, 2 strangers under the stars. Then Jace pointed to the sky. "See that bright cluster there?" She nodded. "That's where we're going next. It's quiet, safe. There's a healer there. He can help you with the leg." She didn't answer, but something inside her softened. She didn't stand up to run again. Instead, she followed him back to the ship. In the cockpit, He checked the controls. She stood near the doorway. I want to earn my place, she said suddenly. He looked back. You already have it. No, I want to help. He nodded once. We'll start tomorrow. I'll teach you how to work the panels. Okay, she said, but as she turned to walk away, a light on the console blinked red. Jace frowned and tapped it. Incoming signal code, BLACK. He pressed a button, and a message played. Unit 435X has been taken from Traska auction. Asset is alive. Bounty active. Location traced. Kill on sight. Rin froze. She turned to Jace, her eyes wide. They're coming. Jace stood up slowly. Yes, he said, but they'll wish they hadn't. The bounty, the stars outside the ship looked peaceful, but inside, tension filled the air like smoke. Jace stared at the red blinking screen. The bounty signal kept repeating. Asset is alive. Kill on sight. Target, one-legged female species. Unknown. Rin stood behind him, silent. Her hands shook slightly, but her eyes were sharp. She wasn't afraid for herself anymore. She was afraid that Jace would get hurt because of her. Is there a safe place we can go? She asked. Not anymore, Jace said. If they know we're here, they'll come fast. He typed quickly on the console. We have maybe 5 hours before the first hunters arrive. Rin took a deep breath. Then we should be ready. Jace looked at her. You mean fight? I mean survive. He gave a small smile. Good. 4 hours later, the ship floated above a quiet moon. Its engines were cold. Lights dimmed. Outside, darkness hid it like a shadow. Rin sat in a chair near the weapons locker. Her metal crutch rested beside her. She now wore a simple armor vest and had a small blaster on her belt, something light she could carry. Jace checked the outside cameras again. 3 ships, he said. Small ones, no warships. Bounty hunters, Rin asked. Yeah, one's already close. Might try to sneak in. He handed her a device. This will lock your room door from the inside. If anything happens, don't open it. I'm not hiding, she said. Jace raised an eyebrow. You sure? She nodded. The first bounty hunter came quietly, a tall creature with 4 arms, and silver armor dropped onto the ship's roof. It cut through the emergency hatch slowly and climbed inside, crawling like a spider. It moved fast through the halls. It had one job: find the girl, kill her, leave it. It found Rin sitting in the main hallway. She was alone. The hunter raised his weapon. Move and die. She didn't move. He stepped closer. That's when the floor under his feet dropped open. A trap. He fell straight down into a narrow pit Jace had prepared. But the hunter grabbed the edge with 2 of his arms and pulled himself up fast. Rin grabbed her crutch and hit a button on the wall. Boom! A small flash grenade exploded. The hallway filled with white light and noise. The hunter screamed, clutching his eyes. Jace appeared from behind and fired 2 stun blasts. The alien dropped to the floor, out cold. Rin was breathing hard. Her heart raced. I didn't freeze, she whispered. No, Jace said. You were brilliant. But that was just one. The second bounty hunter came from the back, a short, heavy alien with red skin and metal claws. He cut through the ship's rear panel and entered the engine room. Jace went to fight him, leaving Rin alone near the front. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A sound echoed from the dark metal tapping against the floor. She turned slowly. A third bounty hunter stood near. The door, this one didn't speak. He was tall, silent, with one glowing eye and a long blade on his right arm. Rin backed away. She reached for her small blaster, but her hands were shaking. The bounty hunter stepped forward. He slashed the air in warning. She took a breath. "You don't scare me," she said, though her voice trembled. She fired the blaster. It hit his shoulder. Sparks flew, but he kept walking. Rin turned and limped fast down the hall. He chased her, but she knew the path better. She turned a corner and entered the control room. Then she ducked behind a panel as the hunter entered the room. Jace's voice came through the ship's speakers. "Rin, now." Rin slammed her crutch into a hidden switch under the desk. A heavy metal door dropped from the ceiling, trapping the bounty hunter inside. Then gas filled the room. The hunter pounded the walls, but slowly dropped to the ground. Later, the ship floated again in open space. The hunters were gone, 2 captured, 1 dead. Jace flew quietly, eyes on the stars. Rin sat near him. Her arm had a small cut, but her face showed no fear. "I fought back," she said softly. "You did more than that," Jace replied. "You protected this ship. You protected yourself." Rin looked at her crutch. "I'm not fast. I'm not strong, but you're smart. Brave, and you don't quit." She smiled, just a little. "Do you think they'll come again?" "Yes," he said. "More will come. Bigger ships. More danger. Then we need to get stronger." Jace nodded. "We will." Rin looked out at the stars. Her past was still chasing her, but for the first time, she wasn't running away. She was fighting. The human's mission, the stars moved slowly outside the window, calm and silent. Inside the ship, however, Rin's mind was full of noise. She couldn't sleep. Not after what had happened. She sat near the control panel, hugging her knees. Her one leg was sore from all the running and fighting, but she didn't complain. She just stared at the empty hallway and thought about the bounty hunters. They came for her. They were willing to kill her, but why? And why was Jace risking his life for someone like her? That question kept spinning in her head. The next morning, Jace handed her a warm drink and a protein bar. "Good work yesterday," he said. Rin nodded. "Thanks for trusting me." Jace sat beside her. "It's time you knew the truth." She looked up, curious. "I'm not just some guy flying around saving strangers," he began. "I'm part of something bigger. A human network. A network." He nodded. "We call ourselves the Stray Light. We rescue those who've been forgotten like you." Rin blinked, surprised. Why would humans do that? "Because once we were the ones in chains, a long time ago. Now we help others break theirs." He opened a small case and pulled out a glowing disc. When he pressed it, a 3D map of the galaxy lit up. "These red dots," he said, pointing, "are slave markets, all across this sector." Rin's eyes widened. There were dozens of them. "This is just one corner," Jace added. "And you're not the only one they hurt." Rin felt her stomach twist. "How many more, like me? Thousands." She looked at her hands. "And you plan to stop them all?" "We try, one life at a time." Jace turned to her. "You've seen how cruel they are. You fought. You survived. That makes you strong." Rin laughed softly. "I have one leg. And you still outran death," he replied. "As strength." Later that day, they landed on a moon base hidden inside a rock crater. No guards, no signs, just a quiet hangar full of strange ships. When they entered, other humans greeted them, some in armor, some with tools and computers. One Tall woman with a shaved head smiled when she saw Jace back from Traska. She asked, "Yeah, with someone special," Jace said, motioning to Rin. The woman knelt down to Rin's level. "You're safe now," she said. "We've got food, medicine, even prosthetics, if you ever want one." Rin didn't know what to say, so she just nodded. In the days that followed, Rin watched the humans work. They trained in hand-to-hand combat. They coded messages. They planned missions. But what surprised her most was this. They listened. When she spoke, they listened. When she shared what she remembered from the slave market, they took notes. They used her story to plan rescues. For the first time, she felt useful. One evening, Jace gave her a small project. Map out the auction's layout from memory. She worked slowly, using simple tools, and soon created a full floor plan. Jace studied it. "This is good. Very detailed. I remember everything," Rin said softly. He looked at her. "Do you want to help us free the others?" She took a long breath. "Yes," she said. "If I can." The next night, an emergency signal came in. A young alien child was seen in chains near a cargo ship. The crew was planning to sell her on a nearby black market moon. Jace and his team suited up quickly. Rin watched them go. Her heart beat fast. She wanted to help, but she knew she wasn't ready to fight again, until she saw the child's picture on the screen. It was a small girl, same skin tone, same fear in her eyes. Rin made her choice. "I'm going," she told Jace. He paused. "You?" "Sure, I know how they move. I know their tricks. And I want to save her." Jace didn't argue. He just handed her a vest and said, "Then stay close." They arrived at the dark moon. Thick clouds covered the surface. Jace and Rin moved through the shadows. Rin limped quietly, every step slow but steady. They reached the cargo area. 2 guards stood near the child. Jace aimed his stun gun, but Rin grabbed his arm. "Wait." She moved forward alone, holding her crutch like a staff. "Hey," she shouted, looking for someone. The guards turned and laughed. "Another broken?" "Alien one," said. Rin grinned. Double quotes, "No. Just someone smarter than you." The trap sprung from the side. Jace and the team surrounded them in seconds. The guards were down. The child ran to Rin and hugged her tightly. "You saved me," she whispered. Rin knelt down and smiled. "No, little one. We saved each other." Back at the base, the team cheered. Another life saved. Another win. Rin sat beside Jace, holding the child's hand. "You were brave," Jace said. Rin smiled. "I finally feel like I'm more than what they said I was." He nodded. "You always were." But in the far corner, a hidden terminal lit up. Message received. Her owner lives, and he's coming. Face the past, the base was quiet. Rin stood alone in the training room, holding her crutch like a weapon. She breathed slowly, focusing on her balance. Every day, she grew stronger. Every day, she felt less like a victim, and more like someone who could fight. But deep inside her, fear still lived. A fear she had not yet faced. His face still appeared in her dreams. The one who had bought her long ago. The one who took her leg. The one who called her worthless. She thought she had escaped him. She was wrong. Jace ran into the room, holding a tablet. "Rin," he said, "we've got a problem." Her heart sank. "What is it?" He turned the screen toward her. A photo of a massive ship hovered over a burning town. "That's a Rovan-class warship," Jace explained. "Only one owner in this system, Rin." Voice cracked. "Korak. Yes, he's alive, and he wants you back." Her hand shook. "He won't stop." Jace placed a hand on her shoulder. "Then we stop him." The base went into full alert. Guards checked the perimeter. Drones scanned the sky. Fighters prepared for launch. Everyone knew who Korak was. A powerful slaver, ruthless, cruel. He controlled over 20 markets. His name alone brought fear. But for Rin, it was personal. She sat in her room, staring at the wall. "I should leave," she whispered. "He wants me, not the others." Jace stood at the door. "That's not how we do things. He'll kill you." "Maybe, but running won't save you. Facing him might." She turned to him. "Then let's end it." They made a plan. Korak had sent a message. "Return the girl, and I'll spare your base." Of course, they didn't believe him. But Rin had an idea. "We give him what he wants," she said. "We make him think he's won." "You mean bait?" Jace asked. She nodded. "I go in, you follow. We trap him." Jace hesitated. "You sure? I'm tired of running. It's time he sees I'm not afraid anymore." The plan moved fast. Rin flew alone in a small shuttle toward Korek's ship. Her hands gripped the controls tightly. Sweat ran down her neck. Inside, she wore a simple cloak. No armor, no weapon. Just her and her crutch. As she approached the ship, a beam pulled her in. She was back, the doors opened. Guards grabbed her roughly and dragged her through the halls. Everything felt the same cold metal, the same awful smell. Her breath grew short, but she didn't stop. At the end of the hall stood a tall, heavy alien with golden armor and dark eyes. Korak. He smiled wide when he saw her. Well, he growled. "The little broken thing returns." Rin didn't answer. "You thought you were free," he mocked. "You're mine. You'll always be mine." She looked up, steady. "No," she said. "I was never yours." He stepped closer, grabbing her arm. "Then why are you here?" She leaned forward and whispered, "To end you." Suddenly, the lights flickered. Smoke filled the room. Doors slammed shut behind them. From above, a vent opened. Jace dropped in. Gun drawn, Rin elbowed Korak in the stomach and broke free. Alarms blared. Jace fired at the guards while Rin moved quickly to the wall panel and disabled the main door controls. Other humans from the stray light team entered from the side hallway. The battle was fast and loud. Blasters fired. Guards fell. Korak growled and pulled a massive blade. He charged at Rin. She stood her ground. Her crutch snapped open, revealing a hidden blade inside. He swung down, but she stepped aside and stabbed his leg. He screamed in pain. She looked him in the eyes. "You took my leg, my life, but not my courage." He tried to grab her again, but Jace fired the final shot right into Korek's chest. The slaver dropped. The fight was over. The team rescued more slaves from the ship's lower decks. Aliens of all kinds, scared but alive. Rin helped each one out. As they flew away, the warship behind them exploded. Jace had planted charges all around it. Rin watched the fire through the window. "Is it really over?" she asked. JSE nodded. "He's gone." She took a long breath. Her hands stopped shaking. For the first time in years, she felt free, truly free. Later, back at the base, the team celebrated. Rin sat quietly by the window, looking at the stars. Jace joined her. "You were amazing," he said. "I was scared." She replied, "Being scared and still fighting, that's what makes you strong." She smiled. "I want to do more," she said. Not just fight. Lead. He nodded. You'll be a good leader. But far across the galaxy, someone else watched Rin's rise. A new message blinked on a secret screen. Target neutralized. But the girl remains. Prepare the next phase. The rise of Rin, the base, was different now. There was no fear in the halls, no silence in the dining rooms. Instead, there was life, laughter, learning, healing. More freed aliens had arrived. Some had scars. Others had chains still fresh around their wrists. But all of them had found safety here, and at the center of it all was Rin. She no longer sat in corners or hid from others. She walked through the base with quiet strength. Some still stared at her missing leg, but no one mocked her. No one whispered anymore. They looked at her the way soldiers look at heroes, because she was one. Jace watched from a distance as Rin showed a small alien child how to use a control panel. Her smile was soft. Her movements were slow but careful. She's ready, he said. Beside him, the commander of the stray light nodded. The others follow her now, not just because of what she did, but because of how she did it. She never asked for this, Jace added. Exactly, that's why she's perfect. Later that day, Rin was called into the meeting room. JACE stood with the stray light, leaders humans and aliens both. We want to open a new outpost, said one of them. A place where no one is turned away. And we want you to lead it, said Jace. Rin froze. Me, you've lived through it, he replied. You know what freedom feels like after chains? Others will listen to you. Rin looked down. I'm not a commander. No, the leader said. You're something better. You're hope. She took a deep breath. Then she nodded. Do it. The next few weeks passed quickly. Rin worked with builders and engineers to design the new outpost on a quiet forest planet called Alina. It had clean air, soft blue trees, and calm rivers. A perfect place for healing. She chose not to build walls around the base. We don't need to hide anymore, she said. We need to stand tall. Survivors began arriving young, old, weak, strong. They came from broken ships, dark prisons, and hidden planets. And every time a new one stepped off the shuttle, Rin was there to greet them. She offered them what no one had given her once, dignity. One night, while standing outside under the stars, Jace joined her. You've come far, he said. Rin smiled. I still limp, but you walk forward. She looked at him. Do you ever wonder why we survived? Every day. And what do you think the answer is? He looked at the stars. To help others survive. She nodded slowly. Then, let's keep going. Word about Rin spread fast. In other systems, people whispered her name. The one-legged girl who destroyed Korak. The slave who freed others. The fighter who forgave but never forgot. Some slavers began closing their markets in fear. Others placed bounties on her head. But many more, they stood with her. Her outpost became a symbol, a flame in the darkness. The logo above the gate showed a broken crutch turned into a sword. Strength born from pain. One day, while training young survivors, a ship landed suddenly. Rin walked toward it, cautious. From the doors stepped a group of fighters. Not from stray light. They wore green armor, old, worn, but their eyes were serious. A tall alien leader stepped forward and bowed. We've heard what you did, he said, and we want to join you. Rin looked round. This isn't a battlefield. No, the alien said, but it's where warriors begin again. That night, Rin stood before a crowd of over 100 survivors and fighters. The wind blew through the trees. Torches lit the faces of children, soldiers, healers, and dreamers. She stepped onto a small wooden stage. No microphone, no speech. Written down, just her voice. "I was once nothing," she said. "They told me I had no worth, no power, no future." She paused, but they were wrong. And if they were wrong about me, they are wrong about you too. The crowd stayed silent. You are not broken. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. Cheers rose into the night sky. Some cried, some held hands. All believed Jace watched. From the side, a small smile on his face. "She's ready for more," he whispered. But far away, on a dark ship hidden between the stars, a different voice whispered, "Let her rise. The higher she climbs, the harder she will fall." You should have listened. The hall was massive, tall silver walls, glowing crystal lights, and rows of seats filled with leaders from across the galaxy. Aliens in rich robes, humans in fine uniforms, machines with glowing eyes. All of them gathered for one reason, to discuss whether the slave markets would be allowed to continue. And in the center of that great room stood Rin. She wore no armor, no weapons, just a simple black tunic and a silver pin shaped like a star, the symbol of stray light. Her crutch tapped the floor softly as she walked to the speaking platform. Some council members whispered, "That's her, the girl from Traska. She only has one leg." But others stood and clapped. Survivors, rebels, even a few old enemies. Rin looked at them all. Then she spoke. "I was born on a quiet moon," she began. "I had a family. I had dreams. Then I was taken." Her voice was calm. No anger, just truth. "They beat me, starved me, sold me like a broken toy. They told me I was weak because I had only one leg." She looked up. "But weakness is not what I became. I survived. I learned. I fought. And now I lead." Silence filled the room. She raised her hand and pointed to a group of leaders who once supported the markets. "You knew what was happening. You saw the chains, the bruises, the auctions. And still you stayed silent." Her eyes burned now. "You should have listened. You should have stopped it before we had to." She paused. "But now we won't ask for freedom. We will take it." The room erupted in voices, some angry, some supportive, some shocked. Jace, standing near the wall, watched proudly. "She's not just a survivor," he whispered. "She's a storm." That night, the council voted. The results lit up the screen. Markets banned, 84% emergency rescue funding. Approved galactic registry of survivors. Creator Rin had changed history. Back at her outpost on Alina, Rin stood on the cliff's edge, looking at the stars. She held a small crystal in her hand. Memory stone. It glowed softly with voices from those she had saved. Laughter, thanks, hope behind her. Jace walked up. "You did it," he said. She nodded. "We all did." He looked up at the sky. "So, what now?" "We rebuild," she said. "And we prepare for what?" She looked at him, serious. "I felt something. A shadow out there. Something bigger than something that watched while others suffered." Jace frowned. "Do you think it'll come?" "I don't know, but if it does, it'll find we're ready." Suddenly, the sky flashed. A strange shape appeared in orbit, massive, black, silent dot. No name, no signal, just a message beamed across the galaxy. We watched, we waited, we warned. You lifted the weak, now we come. Rin turned to her people. Soldiers stood ready. Healers held the young. Survivors carried tools, not weapons. All looked to her. She held up her crutchy, same one that once helped her walk, now rebuilt with strength and fire. Let them come, she said. This time, they'll learn. She stepped forward, and the stars watched her rise.